This video is brought to you by Against the Flow of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is a book about Jake Fayard, a Marine veteran who is unhappy with the political machine running the state of Mississippi. He decides to fight the corruption from the inside. Jake will face more challenges than he ever has and will stand up for what he thinks is right. His notoriously hot temper will push him to the edge of murder, along with his friend and brother Kobe Barhanovich. Together, they will fight the system and give the power back to the citizens of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is now available on Amazon. A link to the book will be placed in the description below.
Count time on the compound. All inmates return to bunks. Beyond the Count, Life on the Compound. Brought to you by former Sergeant Allen of the Florida Department of Corrections. On this YouTube channel, I will explain to you the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts of a prison. Hope y'all enjoy. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you are a brother or sister correctional officer, y'all remember, be safe, and we never walk alone. All right, y'all. Another episode of Beyond the Count, Life on the Compound. Since I have finally redone my whole channel and put the intro in it and all that good stuff, and I genuinely hope y'all enjoy it. Wanted to make it a little more. Make it a little better. I think I'm improving the channel in leaps and bounds as much as my limited ability allows me anyway. Anyway, y'all don't watch the YouTube video for the intro and anything like that. If you watch the channel, you probably watch the channel for what the actual information is I'm trying to bestow upon you. And this episode, we're going to talk about PREA. Now, I know some of y'all just went, what the hell is PREA? PREA is Prison Rape Elimination Act. We all know the cliche. Man, don't go to prison, you wind up getting booty raped. You know, you're not wrong, but you're not right either. If that makes sense. PREA was passed in 2003 under President George Bush. And the reason for it is because, I want y'all to think about something. Are inmates sentenced to prison or torture? Inmates are not sentenced to torture. They're sentenced to prison. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're a sex offender. It doesn't matter if they're a child killer. It doesn't matter what the reason is that they are incarcerated. We still have the Eighth Amendment in this country. The Eighth Amendment is the right against cruel and unusual punishment. Well, in the early 2000s, Congress saw and finally understood that, which is a good thing, honestly. I mean, believe it or not, even the worst of the worst, inmates are still people. They're humans. And most of the guys in prison, contrary to your delightful, wishful thinking that everybody who is in prison is a child rapist or a murderer, most guys in prison just made a mistake. A lot of them are in there for petty felonies, drug offenses, writing bad checks, credit card fraud, DUI third offense. I mean, you know, rather minor offenses compared to the touching of a child, raping a child, killing people, you know, stuff like that. Now, granted, there's some bad boys in there. And girls. Bad boys and girls. Most of my career I dealt with male inmates. So I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, there's some really bad people in jail. And you know what? They should be in jail. And it is my hope that they never come out, because they're just not worthy of being in the general public. A lot of guys who are in prison are not worthy of being in the general public for a period of time, which means their time is whatever the judge said, and they can get out. They can come back to live amongst society, and they can get on about their life. Well, in 2003, Congress on a national level recognized that. And under that, the Prison Rape Elimination Act was passed. And it was passed to protect every inmate, not high risk, not homosexuals, not child rapists, every inmate. And what PREA is, or what PREA did is, PREA goes and makes it a separate criminal offense for unauthorized sexual relations, or potentially criminal offense. If a male correctional officer was working in a female facility and he begins a sexual relationship with a female inmate, he, by the statute, has committed rape. We don't have cameras in the showers. We don't have cameras in the toilets. That would be a violation of the Prison Rape Elimination Act. Speaking of here in Florida, where in an open bay dorm, in most of your open bay dorms, your officer station sits right in the middle, and there are windows that look out. Yeah, we can see them in the shower, waist up, because there's a concrete barrier there to where we can't look and getting a call. Hang on. Wow, okay. I guess some drunk don't know how to use their phone. Somebody just randomly tried to FaceTime my old cell phone. Anyway.
That being said, we can't see over the PREA wall, so we can only see them waist up, so we can't see their junk. I don't know how it's handled in female institutions. I've never worked at one. By choice. Have no desire to work at a female institution. Around the toilets, there are concrete barriers to where if they're sitting on the toilet, we can only see about the top of their head. And again, that's for PREA. If a female officer walks into a male dorm, she needs to announce herself. I know from my time working at a county jail, if I walked into a female dorm, which I would never do without another officer with me, I would announce myself, male on wing. This is because it's what the law requires. And it also saves on liability on me and the institution. If I didn't announce myself and I walked into the female area of the county jail, I may very well see something that I shouldn't see. And at that point, a good lawyer could actually say that I didn't follow protocol, I didn't follow the policies and procedures, therefore I am at that point guilty of misconduct or sexual harassment, voyeurism. So that's what PREA protects in a nutshell. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I worry about somebody who is so overjoyed about somebody going to prison and getting ass raped. I got to worry about somebody who's so overjoyed about it. Yeah, I mean, as COs, you know, we joke about some of the things that we have seen. Honestly, it's kind of a coping mechanism because, let's face it, some of us have seen some pretty sick shit. But I really worry about somebody who is, I worry about somebody who will willfully joke about somebody being sexually assaulted or having a, you know, being raped or having their manhood taken. Doesn't really seem all that funny to me. And even with all of the safeguards in place, it actually still does happen. Not as much as it used to, but it does happen. Usually, it's because institutions are so short-staffed, especially right now. And a lot of institutions are woefully untrained. And I mean woefully untrained. I've worked corrections in 3 states. I can tell you that Louisiana, yeah, they take it serious because they have to, but they're probably one of the better ones for being in a position to catch stuff, at least in an open bay dorm, because of how their dorms are set up. At least speaking at Rayburn Correctional in Angie, Louisiana. That's the one I worked at in Louisiana. The way it was set up was about the quickest, and it was about the hardest way, if an officer is alert and doing his job, for PREA to occur. Simply by the design of the open bay dorm. That's a good thing in my opinion. Florida's open bay dorms are set up very similar. The only difference is in Louisiana, whereas officers have just a little area that's wide open to the inmates to get through. In Florida, I'd have to open up a door I'd have to open up 2 or 3 doors depending on how the open bay dorm is set up to get out. So a little harder in Florida, but still a very good system. Mississippi, on the other hand, with a lot of the regional correctional facilities, and I am not knocking them, I have never been thrilled with the design of them. Louisiana is direct supervision. They use a direct supervision model. I love a direct supervision model. I know it makes some officers uncomfortable. Get over it. Okay? If you can't sit in there by yourself amongst 160 inmates, you really don't need to be doing the job anyway. Just my opinion. When I saw Louisiana's model at Rayburn Correctional for open bay dorms, I loved it. If there was an issue, boom, I can respond to it quickly. If there was a fight, I could respond to it quickly. There was a few things I did not like about the way it was set up, but as far as the direct supervision model, I think it is exactly the best way to be. It keeps down on a lot of things. Mississippi, I haven't worked actually in a prison in Mississippi like Parchment or Greene County or Rankin County, but I have worked 2 regionals in Mississippi. I don't like the way they're set up because you're sitting in the officer station and it's on camera. Or you have big windows as you're walking down the corridor that you can look into. I don't like that. If the control room officer is falling asleep and being complacent, is on straight out condition white, you can't see what's going on, and you damn sure can't hear anybody scream. You're not going to hear them if you're a couple of 100 feet away. I think the design of the institution is stupid. I understand why they're set up that way. I understand the idea behind it, but it's a very flawed setup. And again, I'm not knocking the department as a whole. Stone County was one of my favorite departments to work for. I loved working there. I just wish that when they built that facility, they would actually have taken into account a lot different things. George County is built the same way Stone County is. And it is not it's set up to be watched on camera. Not something I would recommend. as far as the jail design. Great staff at Stone County. Good people. I would argue some of the best. But if you're trying to prevent PREA, it is a very stupid design. There are so many blind spots on those cameras to where even with the moving cameras, the PTZs, you can still hide from them. And then you become reactive instead of proactive, whereas, I prefer, the direct supervision model is proactive. Direct supervision, I am there inside the dorm, literally surrounded by the inmates, and if they screw up, or if I hear a scream because somebody's trying to do something, I can respond. I get on the radio. Hey, I need people in here. They're coming. We're going. We're taking care of it. Separate the inmates. Declare it a crime scene. Preserve evidence. Take the 2 inmates to medical. Don't let them shower. The whole bit. Boy, it sounds like I could teach a class on PREA, don't it? Document incident reports, the whole 9 yards. So that's just something to think about. The likelihood of somebody just going to jail in a 2023 world where you have proactive officers, a proactive department, and having PREA, the likelihood of having to deal with that is greatly diminished. Again, I would argue Florida and Louisiana is the best I've ever seen. Anyway, I hope y'all understand what's going on, and maybe this will give you another insight into what prison life is like in the 21st century. Y'all take care. Have a good one.